All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. I want to give that honors to my apostles and elders, great millstone, who teach very well. While I learned this truth from, and salutation out there to the hoopful lick, who continue to push this word in our truth, faith, and sincerity. And also, Shalom to all the men, women, and children who sincerely believe upon the words of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And today, man, just basically getting on biblical prophecy, because a part of biblical prophecy is this devil showing his horns. Now, we already know about the event, that happened, at the same time, but this is the first of many. For the lack of better words, Esau order out of chaos is going to come with a lot of BS, man. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get something real quick, because even Yahweh Shai warned us about the times that we're coming in. Let's go right here. This is the book of St. Matthew 24, and I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? Or what shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the world? And that's really one of the main things, man. The return of Yahweh Shai. And the reasons why the disciples was looking at the end of the world, because they knew at the end of this age, or after the end of the heathen rulership, the kingdom of heaven will fully be established, man. So let's go ahead and continue on. And Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Why this the first thing that Yahweh Shai said? Because now here in these times, we are in very deceitful times, man. Where just the social media post can mess up somebody's views, man. A 15 second video can ultimately change somebody's mindset, man. And ultimately, like it says, they would not be able to deceive the very elect. So let's go ahead and continue on, though. It says, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. It says, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Yes, because, they ain't got to actually say, I'm Jesus, I'm Buddha, I'm Allah. No, they come in the form of a savior. And that's what Esau Edom is preparing to do. He's preparing to prepare this NWO. He's prepared to make desperate situations happen upon the planet Earth, just so he can, for the lack of better words, push forth his tiny little device, man. Again, this New World Order is not coming under the banner of comfortability. It's really coming under the banner of desperation, man. Because Esau know the things that Yahweh Shai have prepared for him is not nice. Let's go ahead and continue on, though. Continuing on in Matthew 24 and start at verse 6, it says, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yes, Trump and Putin just met not too long ago, not even a month ago, man. They trying to calm down the grumblings of that Russia and Ukraine thing. Israel and Gaza is still doing that wickedness over there. That's a part of the wars and rumors of wars. And there's no coincidence that Esau changed the Department of Defense back into the Department of War. The last time it was in the Department of War, it was during World War I and World War II, man. So let's go ahead and continue on, though. It says, For a nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. And we can see those things happening right now, man. For the lack of better words, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, Russia against China, but even then, Edomites against Edomites, man. Democrats versus Republicans. Ultimately, the Lord, he's dividing this place on all levels to take this place down even faster, man. Let's go ahead and continue on. The point, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So this is not the end all be all, somebody getting done this way, man. This is not the end all be all, and it's just going to, the quiet of grumblings and everything's going to be back to normal in the next 2 months. No. Ultimately, this is going to be a stepping stone into Esau's draconian system, man. You know, you have to realize it's an ironic thing that this guy, he was a big supporter of the Second Amendment. And the same day they took him out, they had a school shooting. You know, and again, that's one way for Esau to push forth his different laws and legislations to put the grips on Jake. You know? So let's go ahead and go back into that Obadiah real quick. This is the book of Obadiah 1, and I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Because ultimately, have this devil thinking like you're going to be able to outsmart the Heavenly Father, man. You know? Yeah, you're making Israel go off and blaming it on them. And even then, on top of that, you tell the Most High saying, look what they're doing. That's why it tells us that in Habakkuk, the second chapter, woe unto them that give with the neighbor drink, because of the philosophies and even the mindset, the way Jake think, their hope, their aspirations, their dreams, they get it from the so-called white man. You know? And it got to a point that our people are so lost, so downtrodden, so beaten up, they can't see life without the so-called white man ruling. And that adds to this nigga pride, man. That the children of Yasharala, that the children of God is looking up unto you. That's one reason why Esau's proud as hell. Let's continue on. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, yes, you in the high seat of rulership, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And yes, basically saying you can't be able to be taken out of power, man. Saying it's impossible to live life without the so-called white man ruling. Let's go ahead and continue on, though. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Yes, man. So Yahweh Ba'ashim Shai is preparing to take down the so-called white man here in these latter days, man. You know? And it's being prepared. And how we know it's being prepared? Look at the economy, man. And again, look after, but the day before 9/11, showing you that this guy, he's getting ready to start working, for the lack of better words, man. Get ready for things to get worse, and be prepared for to get uncomfortable, for the lack of better words, man. Because we're finna get ready to go into some very uncomfortable times, man. But these times are actually necessary for us in order to get to the kingdom of heaven, man. That's why Yahweh Shai was giving us that prep talk in Matthew the 24th chapter. Be not deceived. There shall be wars and rumors of wars. Basically telling us that, yeah, it's finna get bad, man. And all these, this is just the beginning, you know? So let's go ahead and get this real quick. Yeah, this is the book of Acts. 14, jumping down to verse 22, it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, in that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. And again, this is these prep talks, man. There's in the scriptures, man, warning us how bad it's going to be. You know, you got to realize, man, 9 times out of 10 when you read the scriptures, it is basically warning you from something, man. When you read scriptures about prophecy, Salakia, when you read scriptures about the prophecies here in these latter times, the times of Jacob's trouble, the times like never before, it's not saying be relaxing, calm down and chill out. No, it's telling you to be vigilant, man. Because Esau is finna get ready to come down having great wrath, knowing that he have for a short time. And it's not like he's going to be all fair and everything's going to be on an even level and bygones going to be bygones. No, man. This is going to be an unfair game, especially if you claiming to be an Israelite, man. Especially if you claiming to be the sons of Yasharallah. These are who the people are coming after, man. Even though they might say the political figures and things like that, nah, they really want the prophets. Let's go ahead and get one more. This is the book of Psalms, the 10th chapter. This is the book of Psalms 10, and I'm gonna start at verse let's start at verse it's Job, Salak, Akim. This is the book of Psalms 10, and then let's start at verse 3. It says, matter of fact, let's start at verse 1. Let's start at verse 2, Salakia. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. And we can see that with their ice thing. And again, they already been sending out the National Guard in Chicago and a lot of these major cities. And that's another reason for them to beef up, the security around here, man. Don't be surprised if you go to your everyday grocery stores and you see people with guns there, man. One perfect movie or one TV show to show you that is The Handmaid's Tale, showing you this dystopian film where, people was living their everyday life, where every street that you walked on and every corner that you bent, it was a guy right there with a M16 to make sure you ain't break no law, And it's finna get ready to be law for you to have a device inside your body, man. So let's go ahead and continue on. Let's finish it off right here. It says, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. And yes, the devices that you have imagined, the C-hip, we know that you want to chip our people, but also the missiles, man. The weapons of mass destruction that the Lord have made to end off your kingdom. Let's continue on. It says, for the wicked boasteth his heart desire, and blesses the covenants who the Lord abhorreth. Yes, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have already given you the world. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the face of the judge thereof. If not, where and who is he? You already got the whole world. You have different lands and things like that. But ultimately, now you want the people, man. You want to put a device in all these folks to have complete control. How wicked can you be? And that's you being a covetous man. You being greedy as hell. You're not satisfied with the blessing that the Lord have given you. And that's the ultimate reason why the Lord is going to take away that blessing, man, of the rulership, man. Because you're not ruling right. Let's continue on, though. It says, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. Yes, man. Because ultimately, he got his chest puffed up like he can't be touched. No matter of fact, so like I skipped. Let's go right here to verse 4. It says, the wicked through the pride of his countenance would not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. Yes, he don't push forth no laws, legislations, and have the Bible in mind. No, he in that do as thou wilt spirit, man. The law of the land, instead of saying the law of the Heavenly Father, which should be the law of the land. It says his ways are always grievous. That's the laws that he pushed forth. One of the first laws that Joe Biden signed off was having the LGXYZ having rights, man. That was grievous if you was righteous, man. You doing the petrodollar from the gold and silver standard. That's grievous if you was righteous, man. You not keeping the land Sabbath, man. That's grievous, man. And now we feel how light and Noah felt, man. Vexed with the filthy conversations of the wicked. Let's continue on, though. It says, for he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. And that's that pride talking again. Basically saying that you're going to stay in power forever. And that's why you're doing these desperate moves, man. You basically trying to hype yourself up to try to fight against the Lord, but you already lost the game, man. That's why you you have that maniac mentality. Let's go ahead and continue on. It says his mouth is full of cursing and deceit, and fraud under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Because when he bring these evil times upon our people, the black Latinos and Native Americans, and even the ones who don't look like Israelites, once he bring these dangerous times upon you, this devil with this silver tongue, these smooth words, what he's going to try to do is going to try to gain your trust again. Whether it be in the form of beans and rice and, nigga, getting you something to eat. You ain't eating a couple days, and now this guy coming with some ramen noodles. And ultimately, if you want some more, you got to take that thing. This guy have this thing planned out. That's why it says under his tongue is mischief and vanity. So you shouldn't trust a damn thing that this devil's saying, man. Let's continue on. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places does he murder the innocent. And that innocent is the nation of Israel. And yes, you physically murder us, but ultimately, mentally too. Giving us the doctrine of sexy red, man. Giving us the doctrine of NBA Youngboy. Once the words of Yahweh Shema shine, it's easily push it out there, man. Nobody ain't make no, even though the Bible has been the best-selling books, for years, for like about verse, for decades, for centuries, for eons. At the same time, nobody really go viral for righteousness, man. Nobody really go viral for pushing forth the laws, statutes, and commandments. The only way to go viral here in this society is wickedness, man. And who's the main people to go viral? Jake. Who are the main content creators? Jake, man. Because Jake are the entertainers, Esau, he's an unsalted chicken wing, man. And he used Jake for the lack of Belarus to push forth his certain narrative, whether it be fashion, or whether it be a new design, or whether it be a phone, a new phone, a new I know like now a lot of content creators, famous thing now is like Roblox, or even brothers who have play 2K or Madden or FIFA. A lot of things. One thing that's big now is with paying things digitally or virtual credits. That's what VC called. That's a big thing now. That's a way for this guy to introduce that tiny little device or that digital system. But again, Jake just think, I'm just playing the game. I'm going to upgrade my player. I ain't going to have to do the grind. Not knowing that this guy just accustom your mind into, tapping things or accustoming your mind to tap into basically that digital system. Let's go ahead and finish it off, though. It says, he lied and wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lied to wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And that's how Esau's going to do. One thing that Esau, he's going to do, he's going to try to bait Jake for the lack of better words. But ultimately, he's going to try to set us up to be the bad people upon the planet Earth just so he can have a reason to come down having great wrath. You have to realize, man, how Nero played it back in the ancient world. He the one that burnt down Rome, but he needed a reason to bring the Jews down, man. And you have to realize, man, during the time of Nero, it wasn't like that the Christians was just out there chilling. And no, they was telling Nero in his face that his kingdom is going down and that Yahweh was coming back. And we doing the same thing, man. Ain't nothing changed. And it's not no coincidence, man. In the time when Masada, Nero was ruling, and ultimately we're coming to the time where Jacob's Trump and Trump is ruling, man. So yeah, I just pray that this video was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakah Kodash. I want to give double honor to my apostle, elders, great millstone, and Shalom.